You are live. Hey, buddies.
Yay! Hey, friends! Long
Oh
time
my
no
goodness.
see.
Yeah, it feels like it. Where was I at last time we did this?
Well, we were on a 2 week uh time thing, whatever you want to call it, where we haven't done this in 2 weeks, or yeah, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I have like no concept of time. So
Come here.
like, where was I?
You were in.
Was I in Vegas?
Yes, because I was gonna say you weren't in uh Nevada, not Nevada, Arizona anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were in Vegas in a parking
Okay.
garage.
Oh yeah, Circus Circus. After, so it would have been after I stayed in the hotel.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about you first because there's
It's
obviously a lot of catching up to do with
well,
my.
not really. It's pretty short. Like I don't know what really happened this week, but like I had drill
Mhm.
last weekend, and I didn't think it was gonna affect me that badly because I had a bunch of time off, like leading up to, because of long weekends and football games and parades. So like we didn't have because the Chiefs won the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
so they played on Sunday. So we got a telework day on Monday. Um, just because they knew everybody was going to be out late watching the game. Well, then they have a parade here that Wednesday, so we got the day off. Um, and then can't remember. Oh, Thursday we had inclement weather, and so we worked from home. And then Friday was the long weekend.
I went to the wrong reserve unit apparently.
Oh, bro, I'm telling you, this place is like,
Like you guys never work,
for real.
or you guys are always working from home.
Exactly. So yeah, anyway, so we had, a lot. I had some time off, and I was off. I took a day of leave the Thursday before battle assembly. So I just figured, I've had a lot of time away from the office, like working. The weekend won't be that bad, and it's not. I just, what it is I think there are things that I do on the weekends, mostly cleaning,
Mhm.
and I'm not here to do it. And when I get home, I'm like, I'm tired and don't want to do that. So it just like piles up, and so maybe that's what that feeling is that
Yeah.
it's just looming over you a little bit. But also, we're still working on the entryway to the front. I don't know if I told you we ripped that up, but
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Yeah. I think so.
so my husband's been having a little bit of time with. We wanted to do something different, so we. I was like, who are you waving at? So we're trying to lay the tile out to do like a design, and anyway, so that was taking longer than expected, and it creates special cuts, whatever. So it's taking a little bit longer than we had anticipated. So he was working on that in the evening, so I was making dinner, and I think that it's just not something that I normally do. He normally makes dinner, so like
Mhm.
kind of having that added responsibility, and then I'm trying to. Oh, right. So we had a OIP inspection all week. So our higher
Fun.
headquarters has been there all week. So it's like long, days
Yeah.
because I can't leave till like 4:30, and so now I'm not getting home. And then like Riley tried out for soccer, so she had tryouts, and then they didn't really do a cut team. They split it up between JV and varsity, but so then she has practice every night. So it's just like a lot of new things that I don't normally have going on, that
Yeah.
on top of coming off of like a drill weekend. Hey everybody. So I've just been like, like I just feel like I have no freaking time,
Yeah.
right? So we had the inspection all week, so we got to work on Friday.
Oh my god.
So I took that opportunity to, work a little bit. And then I was like catching up on like my house cleaning.
Yeah.
And because again, the front door is out of commission, so we've been coming in through the garage. So like just floors are dirty, whatever. So I scrubbed my whole house. I was feeling good about life, but like it was just a busy day. You know what I mean? I was cleaning all day. I wound up reorganizing my bathroom. Anyway, and so I've just been like, so that wasn't really a rest day. You know what I mean? Because I
Yeah.
was like just doing laundry all day and scrubbing everything. And anyway, because I can't remember what happened the week before, but I don't think I got a chance to really clean either. So it's been like 2 weeks since I cleaned.
Yeah.
And anyway, so then today, it's been raining here a lot. And apparently we've been getting like more than the normal amount of rain that we get here. So like my place is like a swamp. It just is so muddy. There's water everywhere.
I hate that.
And so, you know, the house is the priority right now. So we really haven't done a whole lot with the back as far as like setting up proper driving ways. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so normally when I have to go get my horse trailer or get my hay trailer, I just drive in the grass. Well, I went to get my horse trailer out a couple weeks ago and luckily I wasn't attached to the trailer, but I got stuck in the mud, like to the point where I didn't think we were going to be able to get it out. And so we finally got it out and I was able to get my horse trailer out. But I was like, we can't park that back there. If in an emergency, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be able to get out.
Yeah.
So now my horse trailer is parked in my driveway, and where we usually park the cars is in like off to the side in the grass. Can't park over there because it's too muddy. So there's like no room in the driveway. Everybody's like stacked on top of each other. And then tomorrow I have to go get hay. So I have a surprise for you. Yay, we have surprises.
What?
Anyway, I will get to that in a minute. So my husband and I went to the dump to get a bunch of shit out of the back of my truck. And I was like, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and try to get my hay trailer out of the mud now, or, you know, out of the back now, because I need it for the morning. Well, I wound up getting stuck in the mud in a different place to the point where like we couldn't get it out. So we went to go see if we could go to like Tractor Supply or someplace to get like off-road, whatever, roll out, whatever, to kind of get self-recover. They didn't have anything. And my dad was like, hey, I can come and help you get out. So I was like, all right, cool. Oh, we're happy to see you guys too. All these things just like popped up all of a sudden.
Yeah, mine was really slow. Like they all just like what kabam.
Yeah. So anyway, my dad had to come tow me out of there, and then we had to figure out how to get the trailer out because we still need it for tomorrow. And anyway, that was like a whole thing. So I was supposed to I was in the middle of cleaning my duck pen. So there's like no shavings in it. It's getting dark.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I think one of my birds got eaten by a rat.
Oh my God.
I lost a bird.
Didn't we talk about this before about rats eating things? And I was like totally taken like by surprise, like a rat is going to eat. I thought rats ate garbage.
Right.
Like
well, I think they do, but like, I think what happened was I started putting the food away at night and there's no food. So then they start looking for other food sources. I'm not sure if it was a rat or not. It could have been something else because it tried to drag it under the house. But the bird
That's a big ass fucking rat.
Right. So I'm not sure that the rat dragged it under there.
Uh-huh.
When I came out, I might have scared off whatever it was, but I think the rats like nibbled on it. But
gotcha. That makes
anyway, so I'm working on that. I think I put out a bait station and they've been eating it. So hopefully they'll be gone soon. But I was cooking dinner and I got wrapped up in cooking dinner. Because it's my husband. Oh, that's the other thing. My husband and my mother are born on the same day. So their birthday was on Friday, the 28th.
Oh, happy birthday to them.
I will let them know you said that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I was trying to make dinner and bake a cake, and I just was not watching. So the sun goes down around here around like 6:30, 6:45 right now. It was like 7:30, so pitch black. So whatever it was a night predator. And it got one of my birds. So that made me sad. And of course, it couldn't have been one of the stupid males It had to be one of my hens. So now I'm
Yeah.
down at Lair. So sad.
That sucks.
So it's just been kind of like a rough week. And when I had told you that we could do this yesterday, I was thinking, oh, that'll be perfect. It's Friday, no rush, whatever. And I'm a terrible wife, which he forgot to, but my friend actually called me to wish me a happy anniversary. And I was like, oh, fuck. Because it was like 5:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or whenever,
yeah, it was. It was.
We text, was it 3 or something like
It
that?
was. Yeah, it was around 3. Where did I stay last night? Yeah, because I think I was driving. I had to have been driving when we were texting. It had to have been because I stopped at a rest stop. That's where I stayed last night, was a rest stop in Texarkana.
Ooh.
I think I'm saying that right. Texarkana.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm sorry about that, because at first I was like, yeah, I don't have anything going on.
No.
Terrible.
Honestly, it really, I mean, it everything has worked out the way it's supposed to. I mean, look at what happened earlier.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I could not get connected. But you want to know the funny thing? So I was at Outback, and then I moved. When I got my food, I moved over to the Cracker Barrel parking lot because that's where I was going to stay. Well, Jen hasn't been feeling very good today, so I'm like, I need to be somewhere where there's a bathroom readily available all hours of the night, just in case. So I'm like, I'm just going to head down the road. When I moved over to Cracker Barrel, 5G still, like, good fucking service. Like, I'm watching Hulu, no fucking problem. So I don't understand what was going on.
I told you it was because Universe was like, you guys do not have time for this right now.
Yeah, like, we were going to rush it. But here I am at a rest stop, 4G, with like 4 bars, and it's working just
it was
fine.
Because the Universe was like
you're not going to rush this.
Yeah,
especially because the last time we talked was when I was in Vegas, and obviously I'm all the way in Arkansas now.
There's no way we were going to be able to cram that into 30
minutes. No, especially because by the time we got on there, it was less than 30 minutes. Yes. So I'm like, what were we thinking?
So yeah, for you guys that are on, we were trying to get on earlier, but like Jen said, she couldn't get connected, and it was just like, she was like, oh man, this is like really starting to make me angry. And as like, we all know that feeling when you're just frustrated because it's like, why won't you work when I need you to? And it wound up really being funny. I was like, well, it's kind of a good thing because my dad just pulled in to help me get unstuck from a mud, so I would have had to go anyway. So the Universe just knew that, like,
that we were not going to be able to rush it, because we were going to be, it was going to get cut short.
So, and I wouldn't have time to tell you about the surprise.
Yeah, what's the surprise?
So I did a thing.
Oh my God, she's so cute.
That's Mrs. Doubtfire.
Aw.
She's the newest member of my family.
Oh, congratulations. She's so cute.
I wish I had a better picture. But we went to the dump, and across the road from the dump is and I say across the road, it's like across like a 4-lane highway, is the Humane Society. And my husband's like, I want to go look at puppies. Can we look at puppies? And I was like, I don't think that's how the Humane Society works anymore. Like, anytime I've ever tried to call or whatever, they don't just like let you back there and like look at all the dogs anymore.
Really?
Yeah. At least the last couple that I've called, you have to like tell them which one you want to see and schedule an appointment. And like, I'm like,
weird. This is why you guys never experienced that ever.
I was like, it used to be you just came in and you walked through the kennels and you'd say, hey, we'd like to see that one. And they'd put you in a room and you got to play with the dog and, whatever. And, I called about a dog when we lived in New York, and they were like, oh, you have to schedule an appointment. I'm like, well, that's lame, That's so anyway, weird. I was like, we'll just pop over and see. So we did. We went in, and the lady was like, Eric's like, we'd like to look at puppies. And she's like, we don't really have any puppies. And he's like, well, when I say puppies, I just mean I want to look at your dogs. He could be like, a 40-year-old dog and I'd still call it a puppy.
Yeah.
So she was like, yeah, we don't really like let people like go back there. But if, there's something that you would like to see. And I think it's because at this particular one, the kennels are all outside. So I don't know.
That's still weird to me. I've literally never, ever experienced that.
I thought it was weird too. And I also wasn't like a big fan of how they did the introduction either. They like brought her out front, essentially in the parking lot. And I say that loosely. They have a big concrete patio with an overhang in the front of the building, and off to the side is the parking lot. And they just bring the dog around to the front, like overhang area on a leash. And I'm like, but we don't get to like throw toys or really kind of see what she's like. Because in my opinion, like a dog behaves different when it's on a leash than it does like
100%
loose,
most of the time. Yes.
And there were people donating things. So it was very busy there. So people are coming in and out of the front door. So she's like super distracted, the dog, and I don't know. It just wasn't, I was like, I would have liked to have gone to a quieter place, like a little fenced in area or something. Yeah.
And see, that's why I want to start.
And that was what I was going to say. They want you to adopt, but they make it so difficult.
And I don't understand that. Like, and that's one reason why I eventually want to have like my own like nonprofit rescue, is because I want to put the Humane Society out of business, because like that's bullshit. Like, one, having like these absurd adoption fees for one, for two, like making it like, no, you have to schedule an appointment. Like, you can't just come look. No, that's not how it works. Like, people walk back through and they fucking fall in love with the dog and be like, oh my God, I have to see that one.
There for one dog and you didn't connect, or you walked through and as you did, you met like your little, pup mate.
That's what I mean. Is like that's how because I'm telling you, every Humane Society, now I don't go to Humane Societies very often because I fall in love with every single fucking dog and I want to take every dog home with me.
Right.
So I try not to go to Humane Societies. But like every one that I've ever been to, like that's how it's been, is like you go in and you walk, the kennels and be like, oh, I want to see that one, or you're petting them through the fence and you're trying to connect type of thing. So it's really weird that you've had that experience in New York and in Kansas. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I want to put the Humane Society out of business. I want to put kill shelters out of business. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, like Dexter said, the last one picked us in the back.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it just wasn't. It just was kind of weird, but we loved her. She's so sweet. Like, they brought her out and she immediately just like was giving hugs and so we wound up.
Does she look like she's a border collie?
No, she's like a blue heeler or an Australian cattle dog.
I couldn't, because like you're like this big on my screen.
The picture's not very good.
I can't wait to meet her.
Yeah, so she has to get spayed, so we can't so she'll come home in about 10 days because her appointment's not till like the 14th or something like that. Yeah, she's a working dog, and like I really do I find myself kind of partial to those like herd dogs, I guess. I just feel like they have really good disposition. So they wound up having us fill out an application. We told them that we had other dogs, and so they said that's fine, we just need the number to the vet so that we can you're frozen, Jen. Oh, there you are.
Oh, I'm frozen. Like no, I'm sleeping. Just. Oh, it was. No, I'm like just. I'm just sitting here listening.
So we filled out an application. They said they wanted to speak to our vet to make sure that our other dogs were all up to date on whatever. So she called us about an hour or so later and was like, hey, your application has been approved. So we wanted to do a meet and greet with our dogs first before we like really committed to anything, because if they weren't going to get along, it wasn't going to work. So they were funny. In the initial like meet and greet, my older dog was like, nope, we're not doing this. He was yelling at everybody, and Rabbit was like, he was literally cutting him off, and he wasn't biting him, but he was like poking him in the snout with his nose. So like my old dog was barking like this, and Rocco would be like, man, shut up, it's a girl, shut up. It was so funny. And so once they got all their little sniffs out and stuff, you could totally tell she's like a cattle dog, because when she would have enough of like sniffing, she would like bite at their ankles. Like
you gotta round them up.
But once they kind of got past all that and everybody realized they were cool, they kind of got even like disinterested with each other, like, all right, whatever, Oh, wow. So that was really cool. I think she's going to be a good fit. She's like 3. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she's ever lived inside before, or she's definitely not really been like trained or anything. She's definitely like one of those like squirrel kind of dogs. So we'll have to work with her a little bit, but that was my surprise. It was totally like, and I was literally just saying all week, I was like, I think that I'm done having dogs for a little bit. I was like, I'm just...
Joke's on you.
I know, because I was like, we have a collie, and he just like sheds everywhere. I was typing on my computer at work, and there was dog hair in my keyboard. And I'm like, where does this even come from?
That's how it is. It just travels with you.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of fur babies, how's Sheldon?
Sheldon's sleeping. He's definitely had such a big fucking adventure. Like, he's officially a bark ranger. He got certified today. It was
awesome.
Great. Yeah. So Vegas, right? That's where I was. Were you done?
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of the craziness, and just to answer question. I have 2 other dogs, and I have 2 cats, and then my my mom, she lives with us. She has a dog, so that'll be 4 dogs in the house again. We used to have the 4 dogs in our Jack Russell. He passed away like 2 years ago. He was really sweet puppy. It's really sad.
Well, I'm really, really happy for you guys.
Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. So I'll keep you guys posted. But yeah, no, that was kind of my, like I said, it wasn't really anything crazy. It just was a lot of stuff I don't normally do. And I just feel like I had no time. You know what I mean? I just didn't have any like sit down.
So what do you think the lesson for you was there?
Not to take my husband for granted. So, cooking dinner is like the bane of my existence. 1, I don't like doing it. 2, I'm not very good at it. And 3, I see now how much time like it really does take. I mean, like, I know how much time it takes, but like to kind of be responsible for everything like that, like picking Riley up on my way home and then coming home and making dinner. It was very reminiscent of like my 20s, and it can be done, but like everything is just like back to back to back to back to back. And it's just like, there's no rest. And so I think that maybe it was a lesson on like reflection about, where I've been and like, where I am now, and how much, even though sometimes he drives me crazy because we just don't do things the same way. Like he does do a lot to take a lot off my plate to where I can have that time kind of for, I won't say for myself, but just feel like I don't have an overloaded plate.
Right. Well, it's good. I think that's a good lesson.
Yeah.
I think that's solid. Nice. Yeah, so I've been still on an emotional roller coaster. I've had quite a few breakdowns. That's been fun. So when we last talked, I think I just had dinner with a friend. The next day I had coffee with an old sergeant major buddy of mine, and he actually made me feel like a lot better about like where I'm going to be at financially with retirement, because I thought I was going to be like kind of like
destitute,
pinching pennies, you know, like I really thought like I was going to be pinching pennies, even if I live on the road. Like I thought, that's what I thought. He's like, no, like you're going to be with your disability. He's like, cause like, let's face it, you're fucked up. He's like, you're going to get 100% disability. And he's like, you're going to end up making a total of like 75,000 just to get up out of bed. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's more than I make now. I don't know.
Well, what it is you won't have the BAH, but the disability will basically balance it out to where you want it making about the same as you're making.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's, I mean, as long as it's the same, I don't care. Like, I'm good with that. But yeah, so then Saturday, I forgot my cousin lived in town until my other cousin texted me.
Right.
And was like, okay. So we spent all Saturday, these fucking floozies. So I was supposed to meet up with them on Friday, but they got in late. Me and Sheldon did a hike at the Red Rock Canyon or whatever, which it was a little chilly, but it was cool. You know, we did a short little hike. Well, they got in late, which I'm like, that's fine. I'm kind of tired anyway. So went to the parking garage and fucking slept. Well, the next morning, they're like, we're going to have breakfast at this place. It was like catty corner from where the Circus was. And I'm like, I was kind of hesitant because I don't like leaving Sheldon in the car.
Right.
Especially when it's like, if it's like colder, like it's okay for a little bit, but like to actually sit down and eat, like even when I went to dinner that one night, it was making me very uncomfortable. I don't like it. So I'm like, okay, well, how long is it going to be till you guys are down here? Like, oh, we're getting ready now, so we'll probably leave in an hour. And I'm like, fucking an hour? I'm not sitting in my car for an hour.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to walk the strip. Like, let me know when you guys are, you know, on your way. I made it. Now, I don't know. Have you ever been to Vegas?
No.
Okay. Well, I was at Circus, which is literally at one end of the fucking strip. Like, and when I say strip, because there's more, like, I think there's like the Sahara or something like a little bit further down, but when I'm talking about like the main strip. So I'm all the way down at Circus. I walked all the way down to the Aria where I stayed. I stayed at the Vdara, but like it's right next to each other, all the way fucking down there. And they're like, oh, we're on our way type of thing. And I'm like, these fucking bitches. And I'm like, okay, well, it's starting to get hot now. At this point, I'm like, so I'm just going to keep walking. Let me know when you're done eating. So then I make it all the way back down to Circus. I got to change my clothes at this point because I'm hot. Like I was wearing sweatpants and I think a hoodie. So I make it all the way down to Circus, get some pretzels, and I'm sitting there eating in my car. And they're like, all right, we're done eating. And we got to find a place to park. I'm like, well, come to Circus. Like it's free parking over here. Okay. So then I'm sitting there waiting. My dad calls me. I'm like chatting with him for a little bit. And then Lindsay texts me and she's like, hey, we decided to park at Treasure Island. You fucking bitches. Like I was just down that way. Like I was so upset. So then I walked all the way back down to Treasure Island, which is kind of like almost mid-strip. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not quite so far. But walked all the way down there, roaming around this fucking casino trying to find them. They're at Starbucks. And I'm like, so I go to Starbucks. I'm like, is there more than one Starbucks? She's like, oh no, I'm looking at like a Walgreens. So they weren't in Treasure Island, they were outside. And so finally connected with my cousins. And then we just walked the strip all day long. Literally, me and Sheldon walked all day long. And we were supposed to be off the strip. Like you're supposed to take dogs off the strip by noon. And I don't think it's because of a crowd thing. I think it's more of a heat thing.
Yeah,
but,
probably.
Know, it's not summertime, so it wasn't too bad. Yeah. So nobody really said anything. But it was fun, you know, we hanging out. Oh, I don't know if you watched the Jersey Shore or not, but Angelina's ex-husband. So we were in Caesar's Palace Forum. It's like the mall at Caesar's Palace. And I see this guy walking towards me, and I'm still so mad that it didn't like be like, hey, Chris, and get a picture. But like, I see this guy walking towards me. I was like, he looks so familiar. And then as he walked past, I was like, oh my fucking God, that's Angelina's husband. And I was so mad that I didn't get a picture with him, but I saw him. And then, you know, we ate, and then we watched the fountains at the Bellagio. And then I had to keep carrying Sheldon because the crowd was getting pretty thick in some places, and he doesn't like riding the escalator, and I was tired of walking stairs, so I had to pick his ass up to ride the escalator. But then we come all the way back. They obviously stopped at Treasure. No, I lied. We walked all the way back to Circus because they wanted to do some gambling. And I'm like, okay, listen, I'm getting a little chilly now, so I need to change my clothes. And it's cooler. Sheldon's wiped out. I think he'll be fine in the car now. And I was parked at like the very top of the parking garage where like literally nobody's parked. So I put him in. He fucking clonked out. He was out like a light. So we went in, watched they have the little circus act, and then I actually didn't gamble because it was so fucking packed. And then they're like, all right, well, it's getting late. And I'm like, thank fucking God, because I'm exhausted. But I ended up leaving the next day. I didn't go to the Grand Canyon because there was still snow. And I mean, I've seen the Grand Canyon before, but like I really wanted to hike it, and I'm not going to hike in the snow, even though I'm like equipped for it. If I don't have to be in the cold, I'm not going to be in the cold. So, so we ended up going to, I was debating, I almost went back to Sedona, but I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm just going to head to, I got to hit south. Cause initially, I think I told you, I was initially supposed to hit Northern Nevada, Utah, Colorado, and then head back that way. But it was just too cold. So I was like, I just got to go further south. So we drove through Phoenix, stayed outside of Tucson. I always fuck that. Is it Tuscan or Tucson?
Tucson.
Okay, so we stayed outside of Tucson.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody call it Tuscan.
Tuscan. That's how it's spelled. Tuscan. I don't fucking listen. Words are fucking our words in America do not make sense. Like we have Kansas and then Arkansas.
Yeah.
Which is spelled the same except there's an R in front of Arkansas. It makes no fucking sense.
I know.
That's what I'm saying. And there's an R, A-R, like R. It makes no fucking sense. So I fucking, maybe it's like Toucan Sam. I don't fucking know.
There's a whole bunch of stuff in the English language that doesn't make sense. We could go on for years talking about
that. We can. But anyways, I'm pretty sure that's where I stayed just outside of that. Got into New Mexico, stayed at, it was actually a pretty legit site. Like it wasn't bad. There was one other van there when I pulled in, and I was like, man, like most of the places that I've been at, if it's not like a public spot, like a rest stop, Cracker Barrel, something like that, if I go to like something that's more like dispersed, I'm usually the only one. So I was a little nervous. So I pulled up and there's this guy there. I'm like, hey, are you staying here for the night? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, do you mind if I'm like, I'll be out of your hair. Like, I'm just going to park over there. And he's like, yeah, as long as your dog's friendly. I was like, he's too friendly. That's all I'm thinking. He's too fucking friendly. Like, I got to fucking carry a knife because he's not going to protect me. I got to protect myself. But yeah, so we camped there. I was like getting ready to make soup for dinner that night, and the guy came over and like was chatting. He was from Iowa and he was actually traveling to Vegas. I'm like, oh, I just came from there. Like, cool. And he actually like lost his home. Like I don't remember what exactly he said, but he's pretty much living out of his van. And he's like, I do have property up there, but it's just too cold. And I'm like, oh yeah, like I don't blame you for coming down south. And he was telling me about a spot in Texas where he was like literally on the beach, and I was like, I want to do that. Like I want to. I almost went to LA because I literally wanted to be at the beach, but I decided not to fight fucking LA traffic, and I'm really glad I didn't do that. So we're just talking about like each other's travels or whatever. He does construction, and he's like, yeah, there's a construction expo in Vegas that my boss is paying for, and like he's gonna get to stay in a hotel for like a week and all that shit. And I was like, man, they have expos for everything. Like that was what I got out of the stories. Like they have expos for everything. So then after New Mexico, I got to El Paso, Texas, where I stayed with my friends for, I think I was there for 4 days, which was really fucking nice. Like, it was nice being in a bed for that long, having a hot shower, not having to worry about like where I'm going to the bathroom at. And then it was a good time. Like, me and Steph, like, we got massages, which was very much needed.
Yeah.
And then, ate some good foods. We went to, they had this restaurant that had like a little dog park in there. So we took Sheldon to this restaurant. We did a ghost tour there in El Paso, which it wasn't a ghost tour. I was very disappointed because this guy was just talking about the history of different buildings and like, oh yeah, somebody died there. Like, okay, well, what's the ghost story? You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't really like that, but I mean, it was still a good time. And then me and Andre, because like he was working most of the time, so I told him, I was like, dude, like, we need to, like, me and you need to go do something, because like I've been hanging out with Steph the whole time, like, me and you need to go hang out. So we went, me and him did a hike and all that, so it was fun. And then after El Paso, I was trying to see my husband in San Antonio, but he was just too busy for me. So we stopped. We stopped by Lackland to see the Working Dog Monument. We walked the Riverwalk, and then headed down to Corpus Christi. And I did not want to leave. I didn't want to leave Corpus Christi. I was literally on the fucking beach. Like, I woke up, and I'm telling you, like I said, it's been an emotional roller coaster ride for me. There was some things that was said to me in Vegas that made me feel really shitty about myself. Not obviously not from my friends or my cousins, somebody else. Made me feel really not good about myself, and so I was struggling and just dealing with a lot of this shit. So I woke up the first day I was on the beach, and I did like my normal morning routine, fucking pull the curtains. I don't think I had this curtain drawn. I think I left the front open because it was just me. Like, after all the fishermen left, it was just me, like, on the beach. So I got out and I didn't wear shoes like the whole time. And I was so fucking happy. Like, after the morning routine, and me and Sheldon just walked the beach for hours. And I was like, that was probably the happiest I think that was the happiest I'd been on this whole trip, was being on that beach. I really wish the mornings weren't as like, the mornings are weird. And I don't know if it's just because of that's where it's at, or maybe that's just what the weather was doing. But like, I got up early. I set my alarm for the first time in like a month and a half so I could see the sunrise, because I was facing exactly east. So I wanted to see the sunrise, and I wake up, I roll, and I look. It's all fucking like foggy and cloudy. I was like, well, I ain't gonna see shit. So I went back to sleep. Next day, and I did this every single day. Wake up, look, can't see shit. Fuck. So yeah, it was just nice. We, they had a restaurant that dogs could go to, except everyone thinks that he's a service dog. Like, they 100% think he's a service dog. But then the last day that we left, I was like, man, like, I don't know if I should go, but I need to, like, because like I have to start headed back east. Like, it's March. Like, I've completed a month, which I'm really fucking proud of myself. I completed a fucking month, and I got it. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm tan. Yeah. So I'm starting to get back to like my normal color. I'm not this pale ghosty person, but yeah. So I decided to leave, and I ended up in Killeen, Texas, because I was visiting a friend. I have a friend that lives there, and I was like, I get to Killeen, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking die here. I made it all this time. I'm gonna fucking die in Killeen. But no, it was nice. I stayed there for 2 nights. I kind of just chilled by myself, because she had to. I forget people have to work, and like, like, not everybody's living the life that I'm living. But so she was working during the day, and then we hung out at night. And then the last night that I was there, the second night, we did an escape room. Killed it. We escaped. It was awesome. Yay! It was just me and her in the room, and we fucking did it. It was great. And then we kept hearing this weird noise while we were in there, and we escaped. We're super excited, and then we're getting our pictures, and I'm like, "Is that the tornado warning?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we're getting hit with bad weather. Like it's fucking thundering, lightning, fucking it's like a tsunami outside. We're under tornado warning." I was like, "Well, this is awesome."
Oh
Like,
no.
so we ended up hanging out like in the lobby there for like another like 30 minutes to wait for it to like kind of die down before we headed back to the dogs, because she's got three. Yeah, she's got three dogs. And then Sheldon was like, she was like, he like just blended in perfectly. Like she's never had that experience with like people that bring dogs. Like she's like at one
Oh,
point
he's
or another,
so
there's
easygoing.
because he's just so fucking friendly. So then we left there and then stayed in Texarkana last night, and then this morning went to the hot springs in Arkansas. It's so the Hot Springs National Park. This is a weird national park. Out of all the national parks I've been to, this one's kind of weird because it's smack dab in the middle of the city. There's no like, most national parks that I go to, you got to drive through, pay at the booth, or show your military card that says, "Hey, I don't have to pay," and then you drive through this glorious park that's got all these different hiking trails and whatnot. Nope, it's not like that at all. I drove around, found I got very lucky, and I'm so grateful. Like I was so grateful. So they had free parking, but like it was like not on like the main road. So I went, it's a parking garage. I'm like, all right, well this will be perfect. But of course everybody's going to the free parking garage. So I literally drove all the way to the top. No parking spots. I was like, fuck man, whatever. So I start driving all the way back down. And right as I got to like the second to last level and somebody was pulling out, I was like, yes.
Yay!
So we got a parking spot. And then we went over, and they have like, it's bathhouse row is what they call it. So they have like all the bathhouses from like 1917, fucking whatever. Um, and I went to go to the one that is like the visitor center, but like they moved it because that one was under construction. So I like had to walk back and go to the other one. Got my stamp, so I stamped my passport book.
Yay!
It's a national park because I had to stamp my passport book. But then I talked to the park ranger. I said, "Hey, so I read online that dogs can be park rangers, and how do we do that?" And she handed me this pamphlet. She's like, "You just got to do this to-do list." So I look at the to-do list, and it is, you got to hike, drink spring water, take a picture and post on social media, tag the national park and hashtag bark ranger, and fuck, what was the fourth one? There was four things. You only had to do two, but I was like, we're gonna be here all day, so we did all four. So I had to keep restarting with where I was trying to hike to, because like I said, Jen didn't feel good, and so I had to keep going back down to the bathroom. And I don't know if it was, it had to have been the coffee, because that's literally all I had today was coffee and egg bites. And the egg bites, like, I don't know. I ordered it online, and I never do that. But that's because like I couldn't go get into the drive-through. I was like, fuck that. So I ordered the coffee online, and so I think that something got fucked up. But anyways, um finally got to go on the hike, and we hiked all the way up to like the observation tower, and then got to look at like the overlook, and hiked back down and saw the old Army Navy General Hospital, and saw some hot springs. And they're actually hot. Like I touched them, and they're steam. And I'm like, this crazy. Like it's so crazy. Like there's some parts like down at the park area, there's it comes down off like a big rock. It just kind of rolls off this big rock, and there's just steam coming off this big rock. I was like, this is fucking amazing. I wanted to go inside, like actually inside and explore the bathhouses, but like Sheldon wasn't even supposed to be in the building I took him in. But yeah, maybe next time fucking do that. And that is the roll up of my last 2 weeks. A
So
lot of
fun.
hanging out with friends mainly, but
that's good though.
Where is
Sorry,
this
I
post?
like
What
post that you posted on social media.
Oh, I posted it on Twitter. That one I did on Twitter. It was a picture of Sheldon. I got him posed up on top of a rock, like this cool rock. He's so cute. I'm telling you, like, he has been so fucking photogenic. Like, there's one picture, the picture we took in front of the Alamo. It looks like he's laughing. Like, I have to send it to you, but my dad's like, "Oh my God, he's laughing." But then there's that one, and then the one that we took, that one was at the Red Rock Canyon in Vegas. He's like on this really cool rock, and he's just so photogenic. But he's wiped out because we did a lot of walking today, and so he's up there sleeping.
I took my 2 dingo dongos to meet a new dog, and then I had to go to Tractor Supply, so we took them in because it was right up the road, and came back, and the 2 of them were like knocked out, just too much excitement.
Yeah,
so it's so funny. So I can only imagine he's been on quite the ride the last.
I mean, and I think staying with Steph and Andre, and then staying with my friend Kiva, even though it was a lot more staying in someone's house longer than I really planned, I think it was really good, like, honestly, for both of us, but really him, because like he can't get, I feel like he can't get comfortable.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Like, he's comfortable up there. Like, but when he comes to sleep with me, I don't know. Maybe he is. He is a dog. He can sleep just about anywhere. But it was cute today because when we left, I didn't take his harness off because, like, I'm like, I got to get out of here and try to find, like, like I had texted you I had to find food and like where I was going to settle for the night.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to hurry up out of there to be like, there's so many fucking people. And he's like laying there, like straight up, but he's just like nodding off. I was like, "Oh my God, you're so cute." He's ridiculous.
I'm not tired, Mom. I don't need a nap, Mom.
Yeah, pretty much. So but he's been so good, and he's definitely having a good time. I definitely need to get him to the groomers, like his nails, because I can't clip his nails. I tried to get him in when I was in Killeen, but where was I? I tried to get him in somewhere, but they were booked. I think it was Tucson. Tuscan. When I was Tuscan. But yeah, so I don't know. It's looking like I think I'm only 11 hours from home. So I'll be home by the weekend. Like, I want to stop. I'm debating if I want to stop in Memphis. I mean, I've done the Memphis thing before, so I don't know.
You know what we forgot to do?
What?
We forgot to pull a card.
That's because my cards are buried.
Who are you?
Hold on.
What have you done? No, you don't have to dig them out, friend. It just dawned on me.
Yeah.
Pull a card.
Oh, no, never mind. They're right here. Hold on. Look at my ceiling.
It's lovely.
Isn't it, though?
It's a really nice shade of gray.
Yeah.
Soothing.
Oh, man. Oh. His pads seem to be doing like good. I think listen, my sense of time is fucking gone, like straight up. But I do remember looking at his paws the one day and they looked red. And I was like, are you starting to get a yeast infection? But they weren't like the gooey. So I'm like, they're sore. They're definitely sore. His feet were sore. And I think that was after our last hike, the hike we did in Vegas. So it was really good that we got like that break from hiking. Like, yeah, we did do a hike in El Paso, but we had already, by the time we did that hike, I think a week had already passed from our last hike. And we haven't really hiked since, like, I mean, today. So our hiking has definitely slowed down since we got to Vegas, but it's fine. I think I need to get him some, like, the Tough Pad. I think that's what it's called. I think that's what we use for our dogs. I think it's called Tough Pad. It's kind of like a big chapstick that you put on the dog's pads.
And probably leaves I was thinking like almost like a wax coating on them, almost a little bit. Yeah.
These fucking cards, man. this is the one that I pulled. It's titled Worthiness.
Aww.
Says, I am worthy of the ultimate happiness. I deserve and accept it. And damn it, I'm not going to feel guilty about it when I get it. Guilt is not invited to my happiness party. I won't even tell him where it is. If he asks about it, I'll be like, no, I think you're thinking of something else. And then I'll run away very quickly. Oh man,
that's a good one.
That's perfect, because I'm telling you, like, it's been a struggle. It has been a struggle for me. There's a lot of things that I have repressed, suppressed, whatever, that pop into my mind. I'm trying to debate how I want to explain this, because this has been like what my lesson for the week has been. Is I think the biggest lesson for me, and won't even say it's for the week. I think it's been for this fucking trip, because a lot of things that have come to light. Sorry, I dropped my charger down. I didn't mean to drop my charger there. But one, that I am enough. Like, I question it a lot, but I am enough. And the other thing is, I need to stop trying so hard. If someone isn't going to match my energy, cut ties. Because I sit there and I think about, like, friendships and relationships and like how I am. And I'm like, why did I do that? It wasn't being reciprocated. Why the fuck did I do that? Like, I have made a lot of really stupid choices because, I want to be with somebody, or I want somebody to like me as like a friend or whatever. Like, I've made a lot of stupid choices.
Same
and
thing.
I'm just like, why did I do that? It's not, I'm not doing that anymore. So whatever. And it's kind of fucked up, because I know that I don't match other people's energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel bad, but like, cause like, people hit me up and I'm just kind of like my cousin texted me like 2 hours ago, and I'm just like, I didn't even respond. But I was also watching Glee, and I was waiting for,
but
us to do
what?
the
But that's
podcast.
okay. And I know exactly what you mean, because it's funny that you bring that up, because I've been kind of going through, not as roller coaster, but like you said, those things kind of like pop into your brain or whatever. And I look back on shit and I'm like, wow, I was like a really terrible human being.
Mm-hmm.
But also made lots of bad choices, because it goes back to that self-love thing. Like, I felt like I needed validated by others, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the more that, like, I've grown, and the more that I've realized that, like, I am totally fine being and hanging out by myself. And not that I don't like people, but like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel the need to like always be surrounded by people or always go out and do things. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool being just me,
Mm-hmm.
And I was going some more with that. But
it'll come back.
But it's okay. And because I do that sometimes. It'll pop into my brain and I'll be like, wow, if I would have made different choices. But then I'm like, you know what? I've gotten myself into a lot of, like you said, kind of shitty places or situations or whatever, because I wasn't unwilling to cut that tie with that person who was toxic, or whatever the case may be. And what I do is I'm like, you know what? That sucks. And I'm kind of sad that I made those choices, but they're made and they're over. And we're here where we are now. Yeah. Now we know. Now we know that, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Yep. I'm not doing things anymore because I feel bad. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't feel good to me, whether in my gut or the signs that are, around you, or it just doesn't feel, I'm not doing that. Yeah. I'm not going to, and I still do. I still am like, I feel like really bad that I am not helping them, or I'm not whatever I would normally do. But I'm like, but I don't want to. Nothing about that brings me joy, puts me in a good place, or, and I have and I know you probably do too. you struggle with feeling selfish.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like in some circumstances, like, is that selfish or is that looking out for me? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like finding that fine line. But I'm also like, can't do anything about it now.
Yeah.
There's no reason to waste my time or energy on dwelling on things I can't change. And now all I can do is just try to be better in the future to myself primarily, you know. And I think that's like the big takeaway is to like definitely sit on it and be like you said, why did I make that decision? To break it down, and that's how you heal from it.
Mm-hmm.
But not to dwell on it. You're a lovely person.
And
you know, the lessons that you've learned through those situations are what made you who you are today. And, you know, and now
that is one thing that I am grateful for. Like, I am grateful for the lessons because, you know, I wouldn't change anything because I am a good-hearted person, and you know, would literally give someone the shirt off my back if they fucking needed it more than I did. You know, like, that's just the person I am. And I don't think I'll ever change that. Like, me being a big-hearted person, I think it's more about setting boundaries and making sure it's with the right people. But like one thought that came across my mind today. Yeah, one thing that came across my mind today, and I'm like, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed at the universe. Don't test me again. Like, I'm done. Like, I have learned the same fucking lesson over and over and over. I fucking got it this time. So the next person that you put into my fucking life, please let it be like legitimate and not another trial, because like, I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. Like, I don't have the fucking energy. Like, I've learned my lesson. Like, I just don't want to do it. So, but yeah, and I think another big lesson that I have, especially with, you know, the trip coming to an end, 100% doing the van life. Living on the beach for those couple days, that fucking sealed the deal for me. Like, I'm doing it. It's just a matter of like, can I find the van that I'm looking for, or am I going to have to do something with, you know, Maryland here to where it's going to be feasible for me to do this, which I don't.
Well, I think the key to that is sit down and figure out what it is that you want, what it looks like, and then go from there. Like, okay,
I've
these
definitely
are all
been
my
manifesting the fuck out.
Yeah,
I've definitely been manifesting the fuck out of it. And I've been adding stuff to like a fucking list on Amazon. I'm like, oh, I want this, this, and this.
Because I think you had some place that had, whether it converts into something during the day or whatever, but like, you know, had like a full size just bed with an actual mattress of some type.
And that's what I thought about doing with
a toilet.
That's what I thought about doing with the Nissan, is like, I could take my back seats out and I could literally build, you know, half of it could be a bed. I could have like a little shelving system over there that's got, you know, my drawers for my clothes. So I don't have everything like, and I mean, everything has a spot now, but it's just so fucking cluttered. But I could have like a shelving system, and then I could literally have like a little spot right there for, you know, a compost toilet. But I just don't think it's feasible for Sheldon, because if I'm going to do this for 2 years at the minimum, I want to be able to do things where I can leave Sheldon in the vehicle. Like, I want to go snowboarding, you know, and he doesn't do very well with me leaving him in the vehicle, no matter what the temperature is. Like, I could have it the perfect temperature in here and he's going to freak the fuck out and scream bloody murder because I'm walking 10 feet away from the fucking car. So I think it's the van. I have to get the van. But yeah, so the other lesson that I have, even though it was great seeing Steph and Andre, my godson, and my friend Kiva, who I hadn't seen since Hawaii. So that was like, 12 years. I think it's 12 years since I've seen this girl. Wow. It was great seeing them. But I think that I've always been kind of a loner, but I've always had people to talk to. Mm-hmm. This trip, I've realized I don't really need that. Like, it's been great. It has been great, but like, it's not something like, and I think that codependency that I have is starting to go away, because it's like, I'm good by myself. It's me and my dog, and like, I'm perfectly content. And even on days where I don't fucking feel good and I'm just sitting here in my fucking makeshift bed, and I stick my phone here and just watch fucking whatever and just lay here all day. Cause like I've had a couple days where I don't feel good, including one of the days on the beach. I set out my chair and I was just looking at the ocean. I had just had breakfast and I'm just sitting in my chair and I was like, oh my God, I'm fucking, I don't know what was wrong. I felt like I was going to pass out. And I'm like, I'm not stressed. So I don't understand why I'm having these symptoms right now. But then I was like, I kind of don't feel good. So I packed everything up and me and Sheldon slept. I woke up like it was like 11:30 when I laid down. I woke up one point, I couldn't keep my eyes open. Like I don't know what the fuck was going on. And when I finally woke up, it was 4:00. So I slept for like 5 fucking hours. And then I'm like, okay. So then I think I don't even think I ate dinner that night. Like I just wasn't feeling it. So I got up, I walked Sheldon. They had a porta potty that was like down the beach. I almost said down the street, but way down the beach at the entrance. So I went, used the restroom, came back, fed him, and then we went right back to sleep once the sun was out.
Oh wow.
But yeah, so I'm just, like I said, I'm perfectly content with being by myself, and I think that this van life is definitely the life for me.
No, it sounds like you guys have had lots of adventures and it's cool. I think it's cool. And I think maybe just with like a little bit more two things. If Sheldon gets more comfortable with this is your life now, right? And not just like a temporary situation where like the car is his home essentially, he might do better in it. And two, or finding places for him to I don't know, hang out for when you want to, you know what I mean? You don't want to like kennel him, but like I don't know if there's like, I don't know, some kind of.
I mean, I'm sure I could do like doggy daycare, you know, here and there. I'm sure I could, or, you know, obviously like once in a while I'm going to stay in a hotel.
Yeah.
Like even if I have this, but then again, maybe not, because like I've only stayed in one hotel. Now, granted, I did stay with friends, but like even when I stayed in the hotel in Vegas, I was kind of like, I really don't need to. Like I'm good in my car. Like we've been good. Like, but I figured for him, you know, plus it was kind of hot, and he doesn't really sleep with me. Like honestly, last night is the first time I think he slept with me in the car since we left Vegas or before Vegas, because it was just too hot.
Baxter says that some ski places have doggy daycare.
Oh, nice. Well, I'll definitely have to look into that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, that's definitely an option, and it would definitely save on like, you know, power usage and whatever. Power consumption is actually the word I was looking for, but
but you'll get it figured out. And like I said, like I think once he figures out, because there's a guy who he's supposed to be a foster, but he foster fails all the time, and he has this huge like pack of dogs. The guy must have over 10 dogs of all different sizes, ages, whatever. And he lives in a bus. And I mean, granted, I don't know how much like he's going out to eat or doing things other than hanging out with his dogs, because he like parks places that are like, I don't know where they are, but they're just, I don't want to say desolate, but like they don't really seem to be, kind of like you were on your journey, I guess, like places where people do this like van life parking or whatever. There weren't a lot of people around. It wasn't like a campground, and he just lets his like pack of dogs out and they just wander around and, you know, whatever. So, and they seem to be all right. Yeah. But they also have each other. So I don't know.
I think that's definitely, I know that has been Sheldon's biggest adjustment, is that he's the only dog.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he got to play with Ben when we were in El Paso. He got bit. I feel so bad. He's got like a thing on the fucking on the tip of his ear.
Aww.
But it was his that specific incident was not his fault, but Bim being tired of his shit was his fault. Because what Sheldon likes to do, he did this to Huron all the time. He would, whatever toy Huron was playing with, that's the toy Sheldon wanted to play with.
Mm-hmm.
So he would take it. So he was doing that shit to Bim. He kept taking Bim's toy. Well, then finally, he discovers the toy box. So he's looking in the toy box and is just trying to get a toy, not even bothering Bim. And then Bim jumped on him, fucking chomped him in the ear. And I'm like, and he drew blood. I was like, my poor baby. But I mean, other than that, like he's been when he's with other dogs, like he's super happy. Like being at Kiva's where she has 3 other dogs. Like he wasn't even really playing with them the whole time, but he was just so fucking happy, like with the toys and everything, and just having other dogs in his presence. And I always feel so bad because when we're walking around and there's other dogs, like he wants to go to them so bad, but like everyone, is like kind of like they're fucking snobs. Like my dog's friendly. Like one guy freaked out today when I was trying to take the picture of Sheldon with his Bark Ranger certificate. Sheldon's not looking at the camera because he clocked another dog. So I hurried up and snapped the picture. And right as I grabbed him, he jumped because he's a jumper. He jumped towards the dog. And the guy like stepped in between Sheldon and the dog. He's like, what the fuck? And I'm like, he was trying to play. Yeah. It was not an aggressive movement at all. But like that guy's reaction, I was like super disgusted. And I kind of want to punch him in the face. I'm like, don't be mean to my dog. Yeah. Like he just wants to fucking play. Like
we had a dog like that he was it was our Jack Russell. He just wanted to play with everything, everybody, same thing. But because he was so short, most dogs are bigger than him. So his thing was, I'll jump and we play.
Yeah.
But like he would run to the end of his leash, like all just spazzy. And so it sends off the wrong kind of energy. And I'd always be like, listen, he really just wants to play. It seems like a lot, but he's just a little bottle rocket and he just wants to go run around and be a tumbleweed with another dog for a little bit,
so that's what it was. But I feel bad for Sheldon because
Muggles are dumb.
They really are. But like even like I was telling this to Kiva, I was like, when we go to dog parks, like I feel so like this shit breaks my heart. And it really shouldn't because I know Sheldon's fine. But like he'll find a dog that he really wants to play with and he'll try so hard. And that dog's like being a snob, won't play with him.
Yeah.
So Sheldon's like left in like no one to play with. And I'm just like, there's all these fucking dogs. I'm gonna fucking cry because like my poor dog, like I feel like he's being picked on. But and then he'll have like, but then he'll do it. Like a dog will finally want to play with him, and he'll be like, I don't want to play with that dog. I want to play with that dog. Like, dude, like go fucking play type of thing. But it happens all the time. He'll find a dog that he wants to play with, and the dogs don't want to play with him. And I'm just like, is your like telepathic voice super annoying? Like what's happening? Like I don't understand why you're so fucking cute. I don't understand why other dogs don't want to play with you.
Oh,
but man, yeah, I'm fucking emotional. I'm super emotional. And I really shouldn't be watching Glee, but but yeah. Anyways, so the next time we get on here, my adventure will probably be over. Well, on a hiatus.
On a hiatus.
I do got to get back to New York. Figure out something. I got to figure that shit out and then start my internship. So that's what's next for me. So like I said, I'll be back in Ohio. What's today? Saturday?
Yeah.
I'll probably be back in Ohio. I'd say by Wednesday, because I don't really foresee me. The only place I really want to stop on the way home is I want to take Sheldon to the Shoe in Columbus. Like that's
the Shoe,
Buckeye Stadium.
Oh,
yeah. So like that's really the only place that I want to stop in Columbus is like 2 hours from home. So, I'm not gonna drive straight through. Like I said, I think I'm like 11 hours. Like I've been doing really good with keeping it, no more than 6-hour drives.
Yeah.
So I want to keep it that way. And wherever we stop is where we stop. So I don't know.
This cat. You're
Hello,
so
kitty cat.
Everybody's shedding.
Well, you know, spring's around the corner. Derp, I told you I was gonna come see you. Hopefully your car's not broken anymore. But
well, this has been so cool, I think. And I know that it's been you know, not all rainbows and butterflies the whole time for you, but I think in the long run it's probably good. It's almost like being in a really long kind of meditative state, because driving does, at least for me, especially long drives where it's just like trees on the left, trees on the right. The brain does recall some things, like you had mentioned before, that maybe you've been like repressing and never really dealt with or acknowledged. And so I think it's it sounds like you had a little bit of like an epiphany or a realization, if you will, about you know, past choices and how things like you got like a bigger picture view, like that aerial view, instead of being like, you know, too close to really see it, you know, that you can say, oh, okay, now I understand kind of why, you know, that went the way that it did. And I feel like I see a difference in you as far as just like thought processes on things and where you are. And I think you're going to find it's going to open some really great doors for you, friend.
Yeah, I'm trying. And I definitely think that I'm headed in the right direction. You know, I've gotten to heal from a lot of things that I didn't know I needed healed from. Like I said, there are some things that snuck up on me and I was like, why did I hide that little nugget? Like where was that at? And like, okay, let's heal. Let's talk about it and fucking get through that one. And then the next day, like, there's another new nugget. Like, all right, can I work on the big shit yet? Because like these little things, like,
but I mean, do a lot though.
Yeah, they do, and that's what I was just gonna say. Is like those little things they do build up. So,
oh, thank you, Backstairs. I mean, I feel like a conversation's been a little one way, but it's fun having you guys on here. I love it.
Yeah, I know we weren't really keeping up with the comments too much, but I do appreciate you guys being here, especially since, you know, we're consistently every 2 weeks.
We're all over the map.
So we at least got that going on.
Not only has Jen been traveling around the country, we've been working on different days, different times, you know, keeping people on their feet. So
yeah, definitely keeping you guys on the toes. But yeah, I do. So if I turn the radio off before I turn off my car, it hasn't acted. That's really weird. But I was gonna say, like, I don't even listen to the music most of the time. I'm sitting in silence.
Isn't that so weird? I find myself doing the same thing. Like I'll just drive with nothing on, and I think about like my younger self, where it's weird how much you didn't want to be in the silence. Like how you'd always blare the music, and I think back, like, why is that? Like, it was almost like you were unintentionally trying to drown something out, or maybe
you know, and I think that's so I used to always say, because like even at work, like, you know, I always had like a TV show on, and even if I'm not really watching it, and even when I'm at home, like, you know, even playing video games, like I always had to have noise on in the background, and I always made it like, I always thought it was just because like it helps me focus on whatever I'm doing, because I know there's nothing going on behind me, because I can hear it, but like I don't have to focus on it. But now I definitely think it's because I'm trying to drown things out. And so I'm not saying that I went obviously this whole time with no music. Like, I'm like 3 hours away from finishing the last book of Game of Thrones, because like I've been listening to that. But you know, there's times where I'm like, I'm trying to process through something, like if I have my book on, and I'm like, and I kind of go back to the book and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? So I have to like start the chapter over, pause it, so I can continue with whatever thought process I'm working on. And it'll be, like I said, I've been keeping my drives 5 to 6 hours. So a lot of times I'm like going, 4 to 5 hours with absolutely nothing on.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's really weird for me because I've never been that type of person where I sit and the only time I ever sit in silence is if I'm really pissed off and I'm stewing. Like, like that's literally the only time I've ever really like driven in silence. That's why I can't read. Why can't you read?
Oh, because their mind wanders. I do the same thing. You start to like read a book, and then like your mind starts going, "Hey, what about this? And what about that?"
That's literally why I can't read.
What was I even reading? Yeah,
I'm on page. What? Let me see. Where's my book at? It's buried. I really tried when I was sitting on the beach because I'm like, I'm just sitting here. Like, let me read. I think I'm only 20 pages in this book. And I've been trying to read it for a month and a half. And I was like, because I was looking for, because with it being the beginning of the month, I was looking for Sheldon Saparka Trio because I cannot remember where the fuck I put it last month. And I couldn't find his collar, the vibrating one. And I was like, hoping I didn't lose it. So when I got here, I'm like digging through things. And underneath my bag is like, I have the book. It's like right there. And I looked at it and I was like, fuck, Jen, like you have one goal. Like, you didn't really have one goal, but this was like a goal was to finish this book. And you didn't even get halfway through it. But then I was like, you know what? It's okay because I'm going to do the van life. And that'll give me, I'm going to have plenty of nights in a van where like I can just read a page a night. Because like that's literally all my attention will allow me to do is a fucking page.
Dude, so, I'll like try to read something and I'll come across a word, especially because I was reading this one book and it was like a fantasy book. And so some of the words are kind of like made up, if you will. And so I'd be sitting there focused on how do you say that? Am I saying that right? Am I getting the right? And so I'm still like reading words, but my brain is not comprehending because I'm like, is that even right? I don't even think I like this book because like these words are made up and they're just, and I go off on this whole like thing, and I'm like, dang, I've written this page like 7 times.
But at least your thoughts are at least your thoughts are about the book, kind of.
Not always. Because sometimes I'll be reading and I'll be like, I don't think I like the paint color in the basement. I wonder if you could paint cement. Like it'll just be something really weird.
Random. That's how my brain is. Like I'll be reading and like, something might catch my ear or something, just a thought will creep in and I'll be like, do. But I'm looking at the words. I'm looking at every single fucking word.
Reading the word,
but it's just not
comprehending,
not processing at all. And then I go to flip the page and I'm like, what was I just thinking about? No, I was thinking nothing about the book. Fucking A, I didn't even read it. Oh man, that's why I listen to books on audio because someone's telling it to me, so I can. For the most part, like I said, there's definitely times where I'm like, they're reading.
Oh my god, audio
book, and I'm just
same. I think audiobooks are almost worse for me because I do.
You gotta find. Because you got to find one that reads really good. Like the guy that does the Harry Potter books, fucking amazing. He does voices for every single fucking character. And then even the guy that reads the Game of Thrones books, the only thing I'm not liking is he's kind of changed up the voices from like the last book to this book. And he's also changed some of the pronunciations of people's people's names. Like Catelyn Stark has always been Catelyn Stark. But for some reason in this book, like the current one, he's calling her Caitlin. And I'm like, who the fuck is Caitlin? But she's not Caitlin anymore. It's Lady Stoneheart. But either way, like he would just, I'm like, why are you pronouncing it that way? Or Brienne of Tarth. It was Brienne of Tarth. But like, there was one chapter, it's a Jaime chapter, and he's like, Brian. I was like, who the fuck is Brian? And then he starts describing, Brienne of Tarth. I was like, Oh, you mean Brianna? Why the fuck did you just call her Brian? It's pissing me off of what this guy's doing. But anyways, you just got to find someone that does like good readings.
Good stuff. Well, I am glad you survived your journey. I know a little bit when you took
So
off,
far.
you're like, I might be making a really bad choice.
It's been great. Like once you figure out, like once I figure out the iOverlander app, like that has been like a godsend. Like once I figured that out. Now, granted, I'd say the most common place I've stayed is Cracker Barrel parking lot. But once I figured it out, I'm like, it's been easy.
Yeah.
And if I don't have a good feeling when I pull into a spot, then it's like, find another spot. Yeah. Fun fact, there's definitely no dispersed camping or stealth camping anywhere around Fort Hood. Nobody wants to go to Kalihi. Not that I was going to be doing that, but I looked just out of curiosity. I was like, oh, there's literally nothing.
Oh, man. But I am a little sad that we're going to be all caught up on, well, I guess you got another, 3-4 days of adventure left. So,
yeah. And then, I mean,
on to the next adventure.
Unless I get distracted and end up in fucking Florida. Who knows?
Weird.
Yeah. It's like, oh, weird. Like maybe some really bad storms coming through. I'm like, I don't want to go through that. Down south I go.
But I think this has been awesome. I don't want to say that I'm jealous, but I think it's really cool. You basically took a sabbatical. That's what people call it when they just like leave their job for a while. I mean, you're easing into retirement, but I don't know. I just think the whole thing has just been really cool. And,
yeah. It has been. And like I said, I'm like super proud of myself and I just cannot wait.
You should be, because not everybody can just pack up an adventure like that.
Yeah.
And you did. You said you were going to do it and you did it.
Yeah. And there's of course like the negative Nancy's. Like I heard a weird noise outside.
I heard a weird noise.
I think is that what they mean by engine braking? The semis?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That's what engine braking is? Yeah. Okay, that must have been what that is. But yeah, my mom before I left, she's like, I think you're gonna hightail it back here within a week. Yeah.
I knew you wouldn't hightail it back. I just didn't know, especially like the way that our conversation went when you like got on the road, just apprehensive about, is this safe?
Yeah, like am I making the right choice? But
right.
No,
so I thought if anything, you would keep going and go to different places. I just figured like you'd probably find either you'd stick with campgrounds or you would frequent a hotel more if the car wasn't really working out for you. That's what I thought. I figured you would keep going and reach kind of your end state, but just might change up your lodging plans a little.
That's kind of what I thought was going to end up happening. I thought I was going to be doing all campground. Like I haven't camped at a campground since Oklahoma. So I have a bunch of firewood like in my car that I did the beach made a fire there. I wish I would have known that like all the nights I was there, but I ran into like the park rangers while I was there the one night and I was like, hey, am I allowed to build a fire here? He's like, oh yeah. I was like, that was like the second to last night. The last night I was there, it was windy as fuck. Like, and I had the little alert on my phone that was like, there's a fire warning or whatever. So like I couldn't, but so I haven't used the campgrounds. The last time I spent money on any lodging was obviously Vegas, where I kind of splurged a little bit, but since then, like it's been free and I've saved so much money. Like, and my dad was like, because I was talking to him, he said something, I don't remember exactly what he said. I said, honestly, once I figured out like staying at places for free, like it's been so much easier on the wallet and I get to do things like this. And I sent him a picture. I had shrimp cocktail for lunch the one day. Ooh. And he's like, I'm so fucking jealous. I was like, I'm sorry, but I know it's so great. But yeah, I'm super excited. I am excited to get back just because I want to start looking for a van and start, I want to start fucking flipping one and getting everything the way like that's the only thing I'm like super looking forward to about being back is being able to do that.
So we've been on for a minute, but I did want to give you just like a quick update on my future gardener status.
Yes,
I have successfully kept alive 90% of my plants.
Hell yeah.
I lost a peppermint plant and part of a peppermint plant and my cilantro. I don't know what happened to it, but I think what happened was when we transferred them, because we repotted them, I think some of them just probably could have used maybe like it's not a root starter, but it's like a root enhancer or something like that, but it just helps build stronger roots. And I just think that when we ripped them all apart and shocked the crap out of them, that they just...
You shocked them too much.
What was that?
It was a semi-truck.
Oh, okay. Yeah, shocked them too much and then they just died. But I harvested some of them. I dried some of them. We actually used some in cooking the other day, so that was pretty fun. Nice. I'm growing strawberries. Now they're not, I don't have plants yet. If I would have known this, I probably would have taken a much different approach, but I got strawberry seeds and planted them. And I don't know if I told you, but I was like, I wasn't sure if they made it in the dirt. But I have some sprouting, so it'll be probably 2 years before they ever bear fruit, but that's fine.
That long?
So yeah, because they say the first year they don't produce fruit because they're busy like growing. And then so they usually produce like the next year. Well, it had to grow from a seed. It's got to get from a seed to a bush to then, Yeah. I'm just happy that my seedlings are sprouting and growing. So I've got tomatoes and peppers growing from seeds. And then I have some kind of weird, colorful tree. I don't know. My sister said they were cool, so we planted them. So that's like one of the first times I've ever successfully grown anything from a seed. So I'm super happy about that. And then the next thing is I did buy a blueberry. I don't know what you call it. It's like a propagated part of the blueberry. It's basically when the blueberry goes goes dormant in the winter. You just cut pieces off of it and then you can replant it and it grows another plant.
Oh, cool.
And there are a lot of plants that can be propagated, and I didn't even know that, which is what that means, where you just clip a little piece off it, stick it in the dirt, and it grows a new plant.
Yeah.
And so they're not in a greenhouse per se. They're in the room that I'm in right now, just because I'm in like zone 6A or B, one of the two. So it's still, we still have like the frost date here is like middle of April. So I can't really plant anything outside. So I'm just seed starting inside until the weather gets nicer and I can move them outside. So my seedlings are kind of, I guess, in a greenhouse. They're in a Rubbermaid container with a grow light on them. But they're doing really well and I can't wait to move everything outside. Because that means I can finally plant my medicinal garden stuff. Yeah. Which I'm really excited about. I've been like saving recipes and tomorrow I'd like to find some time. I'm super busy tomorrow to get like a ingredients list and start making some homemade dishwasher soap, laundry soap, shampoo, body wash. I'm going to play around with some different recipes. So if I find something that works, I'll see if I can mail you some and you can tell me what you think.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm really excited about that. Looking at someone on here had mentioned earlier about when you were talking about Sheldon's feet, like a salve that you could make to put on his feet. So I'm looking into different things like that. So I'm super excited.
I'm super excited for you, buddy. And I'm proud of you.
I have like quit painting my house because I'm all like, how do we make soap?
Oh my God. Yeah. Like that's one thing. Like I like going into Cracker Barrel and I like smelling the homemade soap that they have in there.
So that, and like when we did our seed blockers, you had to like, and I keep calling them seed blockers, the soil blocker thing did I tell you about it? Super cool tool. Anyway, instead of putting your seedlings into like a paper cup or like an egg carton, you they have this little device that you just scoop up a bunch of like, it's basically mud, but and then you pack it in there, and when you squeeze it out, it makes these little soil blocks.
Oh, I think you showed them to me.
Maybe. I don't remember. But anyway, when we were doing that,
I feel like I've seen, or maybe I saw a video. I don't know,
well,
but I know exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But to do it, you have to take your potting soil or whatever, and you make it kind of soupy and muddy and whatever. And you want to talk about how good it felt to like not wear shoes for that whole 4 days you were at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I was having so much fun playing with that thing, and it was just because we were playing in the dirt.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited about playing in the dirt, not getting stuck in the mud, but playing in the dirt and making things grow. And it's just, anyway, I'm excited about it. So I thought I'd update you guys about that.
Well,
so I'll let you know how it goes, and you'll have to send me a good mailing address for you. And
yeah, I'll give you my dad's address.
Once I got something that I think is worth sending out, I'll send it out.
Hell yeah. I'm excited. I'm super excited.
Oregano oil. Yep, that was something that I was looking at the other day.
That's like really has a lot of medicinal properties from what I've heard.
Yeah. And my oregano plant is probably the one that's doing the best. That's the one plant it was doing so well. I had to like trim it back or harvest it. And I didn't really have a need for it right away. So I tried this technique where you dry it out and turn it into like a dried herb. So you basically just stick it in the oven, but and then
you need to grow, when you start doing like your medicinal garden, you need to grow dandelions.
Yep. I'm already looking into that too. So I can put together some teas. And
I was gonna say, send me some dandelion tea.
Cause oregano, got it, wink wink. Oh.
No, actual oregano.
Yeah, no, it's oregano. Because it's funny you mentioned that, because when I was crushing it all up and I had it in a Ziploc bag, I was like, oh wow, this looks terrible. But yeah, so because I was actually going to ask you the other day, just because I'm not quite there yet growing, where we got that tea from that we were drinking in the office. It was like from one of your friends.
I got it from my friend Sarah.
If she's got like a site or something, I'd like to.
Yeah, I'll grab it for you. I'll text it to you right after, or else I'm gonna forget.
Yeah, because I'm trying to create a tea table in my office, part of my Zen space. I told you about this. I did tell you about the Zen space with the fish and the Zen garden. And yeah.
How are your fish doing?
He is alive. Last I saw him on Thursday. But I haven't really been liking the way he's been behaving in the bowl. Some of it might be he got moved too much, because he was here for a few days and then I took him out of the bowl and took him to work, put him in different water. I didn't like the water. It was like, I don't know. I didn't like it. It looked cloudy. I got out of the sink and tried to use the little drops that you use.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it. So I panicked and I went to the store and got him some distilled water. So but he just like hangs out at the top a lot. And from what I read is that means there's not enough oxygen in the water, because he's a lungfish, which means they do come up periodically and take like a little gulp of air. But like he just blows bubbles around the edge and just hangs out there. And so some of it could have been stress. He did on Thursday come down and swim around a little bit, but then he was like back at the top, just hanging out there. So I bought him a hydroponic tank. It should be here on Tuesday or Wednesday. Because the plants aerate the water.
Yeah.
And so it's like a whole thing. The plants eat his poop, he eats the plants.
Yeah.
So it also solves my whole worry about over long weekends, or just, the weekend. Originally I was going to just bring him home for the weekends, but I've noticed that moving him around is just too stressful.
Yeah.
So, if he has like a continual food source, then I don't have to worry about him not being fed over the
especially
weekend.
when you guys are constantly working from home and he's left all by himself.
So luckily there has always been someone in the office to feed him, but that's the other thing. He's not really eating. He doesn't like any of the food I've given him.
I would make sure he doesn't have the ick.
He looks fine. Like he has very good color. He fans out his fins. He just like he'll go up and he'll grab it and then just spit it back out like he doesn't like it.
You've made him bougie.
Apparently. So the next step is like
he's like, I have distilled water and you're gonna give me those nasty flakes.
Because I started with the pellets and he did the same thing. He'd go up and then he just spit it out. So I thought maybe they were too big, even though I got the smallest ones. Or I got them from, the store. So I went and I got smaller ones, still wouldn't eat it. So I got flakes, still won't eat it. I got all these containers of food that would probably last his entire life and he won't eat them. So according to the internet, so take it for what you will, they like boiled peas, live food, which I don't even know what kind of live food you feed a betta fish. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing all that. I have a threshold, y'all. Right.
Yeah.
So I thought, hey, aquaponics, maybe that will be bougie enough for him. And then I get to eat the little plants that come off the top.
Yeah. There you go.
We'll see.
We'll definitely keep us updated on that too.
I will. You know what I'll have to do is I'll have to take a picture of him and put it on our socials.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because I haven't posted on our Instagram.
Oh my God, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. But it's also because someone hasn't been posting on our TikTok. So.
Worms from the pet store. They are tiny. Use a dropper. I'll try it. Maybe. That sounds really gross.
What kind of worms are that small? Mealworms are definitely too big.
That's what I thought. And then I'm like, ew, I don't even like touching them for my birds. Like,
yeah, mealworms are definitely too big. I don't know. Maybe they have smaller worms.
It sounds gross.
That sounds really gross.
It might.
I don't know why. I don't know why little worms sound really gross.
Because
like if they're minuscule. Yes.
Stored in the fridge. I feel like one of those would like accidentally wind up lodged in my body and then turn into a tapeworm or something.
Oh no. Oh man.
Well, all right, Bren. We're encroaching on that hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, we are.
I see there, Tiny. I'll let you know when I find out. We'll see how the aquaponics things work out and then go from there.
But yeah, it's getting that time. It's bedtime. I'm tired.
Oh my God, you have no idea. Yeah. I've been trudging around in the mud. Ugh, I'm so tired of the mud.
Well, hopefully it starts drying up for you there soon. But Derp and Baxter, appreciate you guys being here and tuning in.
We love seeing you guys.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. And Liz, as always, it's been great catching up, and
I love it.
I love it too. It's been much needed.
It really has. It's so funny. We say that every time.
Every single time.
But I was kind of stressing out about it today because it was just like, where are we going to do it? I don't want to push it another day. Like we pushed it a week. We pushed it, 2 days already. I was like, we're going to get this done today. But like when we started to come on, I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired and I just can't. But like it does. It's like a soul cleansing and I love it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Man, I think my fucking mattress lost air again. I think there's a hole somewhere.
Hey, man, it lasted you a whole month.
Yeah.
And a half?
Yeah. It might not. Actually, maybe not. Maybe I didn't lose air. I know, so it's 3 sections, and I know we're trying to get off here, but the middle section, I keep losing air. But it should last me for the rest of the night, and then I'll just have to fill it up again in the morning, and then again tomorrow night. Because I got to make sure it's filled up for Sheldon, because he lays back here during the day.
Oh, he's such a good dog, Mom.
Yeah, I try. But all right, buddy, because I got to go inside and pee. So, and then I got to go to bed.
Until we meet again.
Yep. All right. Bye, guys.
Good night, everybody.